Well, as we have been doing here, everybody is talking about UFOs. It's a subject that only gets more intriguing as time goes on. Right now, I want to welcome a man who pursued an avid interest in the future and outer space long before it became fashionable to do so. He's one of the world's most successful writers of science fiction. Books like The Illustrated Man and Fahrenheit 451 established his reputation. He continually turns out interesting speculations on man and his partnership with the universe. Currently, his stage adaptation, The Martian Chronicles, is playing here in Los Angeles, and we've invited him to offer his views on UFOs, among other topics. He rarely makes television appearances, and I'm very proud he's here. Ray Bradbury. Sounds like you have a cult following.
My family, yes.
Oh, hardly a cult.
These are the same people that have been at Close Encounters every day. And along with myself, I've seen it twice.
Have you?
And cried both times. I think it's a very emotional experience, very beautiful one. I think it's probably the most important film of the last 20 years. And I think a lot of people agree with me, don't they?
Which particular parts of it, Mr. Bradbury, got you intrigued?
I just like the whole thing. I like the idea that we not only have a technological film that's fun to look at. We've all enjoyed going to see science fiction films over the years. Star Wars is a lot of fun technically to watch, a lot of brilliant things. But finally, we have a film that philosophically and religiously ties everything together for us. We've been waiting for someone to add it up for us. We've had all the facts for a lot of years, haven't we, about how much a spaceship weighs and what its trajectory is and how long it takes to go to the moon or Mars. And we say, fine, we know that. But tell me, what is it all about? What is the universe about? How did we get here? Where are we going? The mystery of genetics is in us. We'd like to know more about that. Finally, this film comes along. Spielberg dares to make a huge metaphor that is so transcendent that it erases all the lines, all the boundaries between all the nations and all the races in 2 hours. And this film could play in every major city of the world and be understood. It can be translated in all the languages, and it erases every religious difference. A Zen Buddhist can look at this film, a Baptist, a Catholic, every racial group in the world, and it makes us all one flesh. 5 billion people on this planet, and we finally have a film that says, hey, color of skin doesn't count. Religion doesn't count. We are one race on a lonely planet. Let's begin behaving in relation to the universe. It's that big a picture.
My word.
And instead of being antagonistic to the arrival of these strangers from another part of the universe, they bade them welcome, and you have the fabulous musical exchange between our people and their people, and a wonderful moment at the end of the film when the Richard Dreyfuss character goes off into space with them. A journey that we would all like to take, wouldn't we?
Would you leave your family, as he did, and go off into space?
I don't know if I'm that brave. No, I've always been a professional coward most of my life. I've never flown. I don't drive.
You've never flown, and you don't drive a car?
No, and that's why I write the way I write. It makes great sense. You write about the things that you don't do.
Are you associated with the picture, Mr. Barry, in any official...
In my soul and my heart. I think Mr. Spielberg is one of the most incredible young talents that's ever come into the world. And I feel as if he's my son, in a way. I think we're all in the same business. People like Gordon Cooper and a lot of scientists I've met over the years, and young directors like Mr. Spielberg. We really belong to a special family of people who are trying to learn to speak in new tongues, to interpret. We need more interpretation in this world. As I said earlier, we have so many facts. We need more people who dare to philosophize and be foolish, make mistakes, but at least stick your neck out and talk about our chances for surviving in the universe.
What's the most important thing you envisioned?
Now, I've never been a predictor of futures. I'm a preventer of futures. I'm a moralist who takes strong stands and tries to put them in, to hide them in adventure stories.
Right.
Like my love of libraries comes out in a book like Fahrenheit 451. So I wrote a huge book about a man who's in love with libraries, and people are threatening to burn them. We went through a period here 27 years ago with Senator McCarthy, which was very bad, Joseph McCarthy. And there was the threat always of book burning, and we never got around to it. But I wrote that book in the middle of that to attack monsters like McCarthy, when he deserved to be attacked.
Right.
So that's been a lot of my function, without getting serious about it, having a lot of fun with it. But when you finish the book, then you wake up and discover I've been telling you to behave better, which was what Jules Verne was doing, which was what H.G. Wells was doing. So I haven't done that much predicting. It's too easy to do anyway. I can predict right now we're going to make it to the end of the century. We're not going to have another major war in the next 500 years.
Did you predict the energy crisis?
No, because I wasn't interested in it. It's a bore, and it's mostly false, and anytime we want to solve it, we can solve it. We have the wherewithal, we have the imagination. All we need is the willpower and apply ourselves. And we have the ocean right on the, running along the shore here. Anytime we want to take advantage of the ocean and the tides, we get energy from them. Anytime we want to redistribute the water of our country, we can do that. Remember during World War II, President Roosevelt said we're going to build 50,000 aircraft. And everyone said that's impossible. Well, we willed ourselves to do it, and we did it. So we must will ourselves now to desalinate the water of the world and give it to ourselves as a gift and turn the deserts into gardens, which we can do. We're doing it all around California. That's the great thing about working for the Disney people. I've been working at WED Enterprises, which is a Disney organization, for the last year, trying to help them create a city of the future, one that really works, one with solar energy in it. They're already experimenting with it down in Florida. And what we must do is get the corporate people together and experiment with possible new small towns of the future, set an example, build the town. If it works, then we build more of them. All across our country, a lot of our small towns need to be rebuilt and rethought in terms of humanities and corporations. And there is profit in excellence. We've discovered this time and again. This film is a good example. It is excellent and is making a profit. So therefore, out of excellence can be profit for all of us. I have just happen to have a book of poetry here of my own. It's been out for several years, but I brought it along because there's one poem toward the end that ties in. There's about 8 or 9 lines that tie in with what we've been discussing. So if you'll permit, I'd like to read the 8 or 9 lines.
From Ray Bradbury's When Elephants Last in the Dooryard Bloomed. Bloomed.
When elephants last in the dooryard bloomed.
That means the last time elephants bloomed in the dooryard.
Yeah, right.
May I give you the lines?
Please.
All right. This is a poem about our position in the universe and why we should believe in space travel. Oh, Thomas, will a race one day stand really tall across the void, across the universe and all, and measured out with rocket fire, at last put Adam's finger forth as on the Sistine ceiling, and God's great hand come down the other way to measure man and find him good and bless him with forever's day. I work for that. Short man, large dream. I send my rockets forth between my ears, hoping an inch of will is worth a pound of years, aching to hear a voice cry back along the universal mall, we've reached Alpha Centauri, and we're tall. Oh, God, we're tall.
Good. Ray Bradbury.